After understanding of capital receipts, now I think we should move on to understand capital expenditure. And again, let's focus on the expenditure part and then relate it with the capital part. So these are those expenditure of government which either reduce a liability or create an asset. Now, I'll give you some examples which will make these two things particularly clear. Create an asset, reduce a liability. So how do you spend your money when you see it in the capital budget world? The idea is to reduce all your liabilities, like a loan that you have taken. When you repay that loan, you are undertaking an expenditure. But with that expenditure, you are also reducing your liability. So similarly, government also undertakes repayment of loans and it pays back and reduces its liability. Whereas when government attempts to create an asset in a country, it is also part of a capital expenditure. Now you need to identify what all things classify as an asset. So whenever there is construction of school, okay, highways, hospitals, okay, all these things, bridges, all these things that are created in our country are like an asset to our country, right? They help us create much more value after they have been created. So creation of an asset is being explained and reduction of liability is being explained. We can see for few more examples of how capital expenditure is undertaken is when government also invests in shares. Okay, government also buys some share in some various companies in order to increase its wealth. So investment in share is going to be a kind of creating an asset. Similarly, if it is acquiring land, majoritarily lands are mostly acquired for certain projects that government has to do. It can also buy machinery. This is a capital good for the citizens and further production in a country. It can also create a power plant. Okay, all these things are creating an asset. Beyond this, it can also, now as I told you, if a bank grants a loan, so if you see it from the bank's side, it is creating an asset for a bank, right? If you recall and relate it with the initial example that I gave you of the person and the bank. So if government is advancing loan, then it means it is creating an asset for itself. Now, who are the major recipients of union government loan? They are loans to states, right? PSUs are also granted loans or union territories. Okay, and since it is loan being granted, so it is a creation of an asset, right? And now if government has taken a loan long back and now is the time it needs to spend on repaying that debt. So if you repay old debt, it is like a reduction in liability. Okay, so this is how one understands capital expenditure. Major two goals is to either reduce a liability or create an asset for itself. Okay, fine.